It is Mark Smith with Family Tree Brand Life Coaches, and I'm out on the back porch today. I'm pretending that it's not cold. I'm pretending that it's still tropical. Hey, music lover, you're the first one to log on. Let me get centered here. Got my pork pie hat working for me. So welcome one and all. Let me turn this on so I can see your comments as they come up. If I can get this to work. It's not working. Hi Sarah. Hey Jackie. Bada bing, dude. Huh. Okay. Technical difficulties. Let me turn this down, and I want to be able to see your commentary so that I can react to it a little bit. I'm juggling devices that are just about out of juice, so doing the best I can here. Where's the live chat? There it is. Okie dokie, man, all kinds of people. Miss Swifty, hello. Annie, Kelly, Wonder Woman, Deb Conley, Kate Nadine, Megan, all kinds of people invited to the party tonight here. So, where the heck is Ren? I buried her in the backyard. We've been taking turns and doing this every other week. And hey Ellie, she did it last week, and so I was up this week, and I did it this week. So next week I think I'm probably gonna do it. Hi Zach. Hi Debbie Smith. I know a Debbie Smith. I don't know if it's that Debbie Smith. So I've got several topics to discuss tonight. One is the music lover's been missing the last two because she's had some depression. It happens. I tell you what, it can take you out, can it? You know, really bad depression. I should get over here where y'all can see the palm tree. Alright, we're gonna rearrange here just a little bit. Get some of my magical palm tree in the situation. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. Good lighting. Good. I'm glad it's working out. Y'all can hear me okay? So what about all of these sexual harassment scandal things? Every other week, some famous celebrity, either an actor or a news person, gets fired from their job because of some long-going horrific sexual harassment. Jackie says sex is overrated. Well, we're really not talking about sex. We're talking about sexual harassment. And sexual harassment is really more about power than it is about sex. Kelly Wood says abuse is about power. Thank you. So I did a video and on the topic of, is this just an epidemic of what we're going to see to come man after narcissistic predator man going down because women aren't going to take being abused anymore. Hi, Soren. I think it is. I think this shit's been going on for decades, and I'm good tonight. I've had a wonderful day, been busy seeing clients, been able to be outside pretty much all day. I think I saw a couple clients inside this morning, and getting dry humped by your boss on the day you leave your job. I think you should get a lawyer and sue his ass for a lot of money. That's what I think. Snow in New England. Debbie says she was been a victim from sexual harassment, but no one should lose their job or be convicted on an accusation only. Well, no, if it's one single accusation that hasn't been substantiated, then nobody, I don't know that anybody should lose their job unless there's proof. But with every one of these knuckleheads, there's anywhere from 4 to 70 women coming forward. So we know who's guilty and who's not guilty. Now Agnes saying sex is underrated. They admitted to the misconduct after they got caught. So, hey Dan, what's up, dog? So, the other thing I want to talk about is another video I made. And so here's the deal. In case you guys didn't see the video, and sorry to tell the story again if you did see the video, but so I switched phone carriers because Sprint was overcharging me, I thought, and I got a thing in the mail from AT&T, and they said they'll take $25 off my AT&T bill every month, and I get HBO for life. Well, shoot, you can't beat HBO for life and saving 25 bucks. So, so I've got HBO, and my lovely wife, Ginger, says my videos were helpful. I'm glad they were. I put a lot of heart into them. My lovely wife was off in Alabama, spending her birthday with her sister, and so I made some videos, and I decided to watch The Sopranos, and it's the first episode, in the first season was Tony going to therapy with Dr. Malfi, and just a classic scene. I love the therapy scenes. It's a psychologist trying to do therapy with a narcissist, and it's classic. So anyway, so there was this episode number 6 called College, where Tony it's hey Andy, Kelly says men who prey on children should be shot. It's funny you say that, because one of the men I mentioned was Jared from Subway, and nobody shot him, but he was sexually preying on children, and but they put him in a prison in Littleton, Colorado, and basically every other day he gets his ass beat by the prisoners, because they don't take kindly to pedophiles in prison. Prison has their ethics, by God, and yeah, the violence was hard to watch in The Sopranos, that's for sure. I just like the character studies. So so Tony is driving around New England with his daughter Meadow, like he's a normal guy, signing her up for whatever college she wants to go to. And he's at a gas station, and he spots somebody who had ratted out his fellow mob members. And since we're talking about the mob, that's why I got the pork pie hat on, because of the Breaking Bad character, Walter White, Heisenberg. So anyway, he spots the rat. Have you not met any real wise guys? I don't think I have met any real mafiosos. He spots the rat, and then he lies to his daughter. He opened up a little bit on the trip with his daughter, and told the truth about being in the mafia, and then he turns around and lies to her. It's just a classic narcissist move, and you can just see his daughter wanting to believe him, but him lying and her knowing it's a lie, but letting him sort of getting away with it. Annie, those are my two favorite shows of all time, Sopranos and Breaking Bad. Yep. Breaking Bad was my favorite. So, Kelly's Italian. All right. So he lies. He sneaks away. He finds out where the rat works, and he strangles him to death with a piece of cord with his bare hands. Breaking Bad was a black hole that took over my life. I spent an awful lot of time. Kelly Wood's Sicilian. I think a lot of mafiosos came from Sicily, as I remember. Deb is Italian. So anyway, he kills the guy. He's got mud on his shoes. His hands are covered with blood, and he lies. Somebody loves Jesse Pinkman. He lies to his daughter, and then they go to the next school, which is, I think it's called Duin, or I might be mispronouncing it. It's a school that's been going since early 1800s. He sits down. Meadow goes for an interview. He looks up, and there's this big granite sign, and this is what the sign said. It was a quote from Nathaniel Hawthorne, who was the most famous alumni of that college. This is what the quote said. Tony Fresh, from choking a guy to death, acting like the good dad. He looks up, and the sign says, "No man for a considerable amount of time who has a face that he keeps to himself and a face that he shows the public can not be bewildering even to himself." It was something along those lines. I butchered the quote just a little bit, but I'll try it again. No man for a considerable amount of time who has one face to himself and one face for the multitudes cannot be bewildering even to himself, ultimately. So, man, I tell you what, that just grabbed hold of me, because it answered me some questions. And I often ask myself, why did my fiance tell me all the things she told me? Because she told me things that were just viciously unnecessary to tell me. And the theory was she told me to torture me and just out of meaning. But it didn't seem that way. I'm telling you, the thing that it seemed like was these narcissists who have two faces, they bewilder even themselves. They fool even themselves. They start believing their own bullshit. They believe their own lies so badly, so much, that I think this woman wanted to be righteous. I think she wanted to be in recovery. I think she wanted to be a Carmel housewife. I don't think she wanted to be known as, you know, the worst sex addict Carmel, Indiana had ever seen. I think she was telling herself that she loved me and she wanted to be there. And then she went off to the Bridge to Recovery, which is just a place. Hey, Submit, what's up, dog? Just a place of incompetence and just aiding and abettors of narcissists, empowerers of narcissists. But they did at least they did at least help her to figure out, dude, you're not Susie Homemaker. You're not a Carmel housewife. You don't love Mark. You don't want to be there with him. You basically want to keep on fucking your sex addict fellow narcissist sociopath. So quit acting like you have one face when it ain't your face. Quit acting like the country girl with the heart of gold. So who said that was a good comment? Ellie, the self-bewildered, two-faced narcissist bewildered by their own bull poop. Let's call it bullshit. Exactly. The self-bewildered, two-faced narcissist bewildered by their own bullshit. Amen. Amen. Bewildered is the word made back into use from Great Britain. Hi, Lady Fairfax. So that really helped me to it really helped me to piece together some things. Renda's great. Renda's doing really good. As to, you know, it didn't pay for this woman to tell me all those things to be mean, because in my heightened PTSD condition, I took a toll on her. I've made a video, 15 ways I defeated my narcissist. On a boundary setting and assertive level, I whooped her ass, and she messed with the wrong fella. So it didn't pay to try to torture me. She lost everything she had and then some. And I just think the only explanation is that that she was bewildered, and she always was confused about who she was, and now she knows, and she knows she didn't belong with me. So, killer quote, wasn't expecting it, and there's Tony going, hey, I've got the face I show the multitudes of a good dad, but am I a good dad? Am I a good person? Or am I a ruthless murderer? Yeah, Wonder Woman. I haven't heard from this woman since the day that she discarded me. That's the last I've heard of her, and frankly, I hope I never run into her. So enough of that. And then I made another video about how having an affair is the worst kind of self-abuse. And I'm not talking about narcissists in this. Not all of my material is about narcissists and narcissistic abuse syndrome, but I went through and listed 10 ways that you really harm yourself if you have an affair. So anyway, those are some videos I have in the hopper. I guess they're out of the hopper and they've already hopped onto the screen. We're headed back to Indianapolis for a while. We've been able to get a condo to move into when we're in town. So we're excited about that. We're gonna have emotional affairs are sometimes more powerful and toxic than sexual affairs. We're gonna have a home when we're in town, and we're gonna have time. I've got a daughter who needs some attention and some help, and a business that needs running. But we'll hopefully be here at the beach more often than not. But we have a lot of commitments and focus in Indianapolis. A home away from home, really it'll be about half and half probably. So, by the way, I'm eating tart Morenci cherries, dried. They're delicious. In case you're wondering what I was nibbling on. I don't get a royalty from selling cherries, by the way. Somebody made a comment here. Wonder Woman says, when you have an affair, you steal from yourself the opportunity for a real relationship. Now, that made me sad. It's like, if, I'll just go ahead and say her name, what the hell, if this Betsy, she never gave our relationship a chance, because she was having an affair the entire time. With all the therapy we got and all the knowledge I had, if she'd have put her heart in it, who knows what could have happened. But if you're lying from the beginning, then there is no chance or opportunity for any kind of intimacy. Annie says, supposedly it's harder for a couple to heal from an emotional affair than a physical one. Well, I wouldn't say that. It depends on the couple. There's just something sacred about physical intimacy. And I would say that with some couples, the thought of having your wife or your husband having sex with somebody else is just so painful. And with other people, it's more having the emotional intimacy with somebody else. Okay, so Andy, has anyone else experienced past faking as well as future faking? As they will say things like, I was thinking about you the whole time, I missed you so much, but they ignored all your text. Yeah, I can't even count, how many lies were told. And I'm not again trying to play the victim role at all. My mom was a lie. My mom was a lie. And Betsy was a lie. Brenda's the truth. They are con artists. Wonder Woman says, that's what you really hurts too, Mark. It's like, do you know what you could have had here if you had just put your energy into our relationship, into catting around? People are who people are. Betsy never could have told the truth and not been a, sex addict, con artist from the beginning. I wasn't looking for a good woman. I was looking for a woman like my mother, who treated me like she did. And frankly, 2 3/4 years later, I feel blessed to have lived through it and have learned so much. And I've got my amazing home here in South Carolina and my heaven on earth patio. My wife's back. I think she went and got me a pizza, but I'll wait till after the show to eat the pizza. So you learn a lot going through recovery. Kate Nadine says, what is your authentic self? Well, it's just what it says. Who you really are, what you really think. Not trying to be something you're not. Telling the truth, having courage, being bold, being deep, being connected. So many people can't have an authentic self because they're either drunk or they're on drugs or they're too busy working. Really the whole goal of recovery is to be authentic, to be in the right time, at the right, with the right people, for the right reasons, and always to live a life that's really centered and individuated and balanced, to where you love yourself, you just don't love yourself too much. Okay. How did you realize Renda was the real deal? Was it a gut feeling or just a different peaceful kind of feeling than anything you'd ever known? Really, with Renda and I, it was a friendship. We really didn't date very, very much, which goes against what I teach. Basically, she was one of the counselors at my practice, and I barely even knew her, and I was such a crushed, destroyed mess of a human being, and she just started to help me function. There wasn't any romance, there wasn't any flirting. I was too broken to even think about such things, but it was the accumulation, Kelly, of one loving act after loving act after giving act after solid friendship after loyalty after having my back. It was true friendship. And then after dating several other scary ass vile narcissistic women, I finally woke up and said, well, man, this woman over here, she tells the truth and she has my back and she's good. She's not as mean and crazy as I'm used to, but she's good. Tawana, how's it going? So that's how I knew. Wonder Woman, does anyone have any advice as to what I should do while my husband is here for a couple of weeks to get his things? I want to seem uninterested, but I can't leave because I need to watch him. My advice, Wonder Woman, since you are Wonder Woman, I'm Superman. My advice would be take his shit and put it in the garage and then lock the door between the garage and your house. Many years ago, one of the my favorite couples, I'd always go out in the waiting room and say, "Oh, my favorite couple is here," and they're like, "Oh, you just tell that to everybody." What's a sad day for Alabama? I thought Alabama got in the Alabama got in the tournament. So why is Alabama having a sad day? I got away from my questions. So many years ago, this guy, the knucklehead who is a sex addict, won his election. Jesus. What do voters think? He molested those women, he's going to get elected. It really pisses me off. But so this fella was in midlife, and their marriage was distant, and he had a little 1-week affair. He had a little 1-week affair, but boy, I tell you what, it shattered his wife. And he came home and he wanted to come in the house, and she had packed all his stuff up and said, "Hi, Diana." She set all the stuff out in the garage, and then she locked the door, and he could come and get his stuff, and then he had to go. So, and that broke the man. It got him in some really good recovery, and now they're very, very, very happily married. And they've done a whole bunch of really effective work. So that's really cool. So, but to have him walking around through your house and you having to be there, that just seems unsafe to me. There's other ways it can happen. Okay, other comments here. Y'all are talking to each other good. Hey, my wife says she loves me. Well, I love you back, honey. Roy Moore is 20,000 votes ahead. What are people thinking? Oh, I just don't understand. Hi, Brittany. I don't understand how. Hey, honey, can you bring maybe a couple slices of that pizza out here? Maybe I can scarf a little bit of pizza. Just bring a couple little pieces out here for me. Hey, thanks for the comment on the hat, my pork pie hat. Because we're talking a little bit of gangster stuff. We're not really talking about religion, and we're not talking about politics, Jackie. I got to call you on that. We're talking about the abuse of women and powerful white men raping and molesting and attacking women and getting away with it. That's what we're talking about. That's not politics. That's evil. It's evil. And people are losing their jobs, good jobs, every day because they're being exposed. You know, the one that really surprised me was Garrison Keillor. Am I saying it right? Garrison Keillor, you know, the guy on public radio. Am I saying it right? He seemed like, you know, Captain Kangaroo. Thanks, honey. Wow, that pizza looks good. Y'all are gonna get not much talking. You can get a lot of snarfing sounds here in a little bit. Check that out. Look at that bad boy. I don't know any other hosts that eat on their show, but I'm telling you what, I'm a little hungry. I don't even know what we were talking about. Lake Wobegon. Can you believe that? Okay, back up. I saw a question there. Where's the question? Man. Soren. Hey Mark, do you think it's a good idea to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner? I'm thinking about doing human services, but I want to prescribe meds. What do you think? I've been in this for a minute. Let me get a bite of this pizza, dude, and I'll answer your question. Nom, 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 nom. Kim, damn it, I don't appreciate you preaching on our channel. It's disrespectful. If I want to use the Lord's name in vain, I'll use the Lord's name in vain. If you don't like it, don't come on our channel. Alright? Because I'll bounce you right off of here if you keep using that tone. You seem like somebody. In fact, I'm gonna remove you. You just seem like somebody who is a religious addict, and if there's an outcry of evil, if I want to say the word Jesus, I'll say it, and I'll bounce you off the channel if you don't like it. Soren, the psychiatric nurse is fantastic. My psychiatrist, if you will, is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she is marvelous. So if you want to do therapy and prescribe, Pearl of Great Price is saying I've got anger issues. Oh my God. I believe I had something to be angry about. I'm gonna block a lot of people here. Trolls and nobody. Honey, can you help me with these trolls? We got she bounced them. My wife's got my back. Kim has been on our show before, and she's a good lady, but she's got religious addiction. All I said was Jesus. I didn't say anything bad about him. But when I was from age 30 to 40, 20 to 17 to 30, I was a religious addict. So Kim, I think, has done good work and has been a good member of the community, but just having that kind of a preachy, aggressive attitude just didn't feel safe to me. And if you piss me off, I will give you a talking to. Soren says, thank you for your good advice. I think it's a good idea too. I'm going to roll this January and start the prerequisites. It'll take 5 years. Well, Soren, that's marvelous. That's marvelous. That's good work. There's not a lot of psychiatrists out there who understand narcissistic abuse syndrome or PTSD. So if you had a practice, well, I'm glad I've inspired you. The pizza is amazing. If you had a practice where you could combine, oh, thank you, Lady Fairfield, about the video. I was pretty passionate on that video because that quote was just so awesome. So, but if you could combine medication with PTSD treatment, you could really impact the world. Is it rude to eat pizza on TV like this? It's just so good. I didn't get a chance to eat no supper. Kelly, are you saying yes, it's rude? It might be. Only if you can't share. Kelly says because she wants some. Well, go ahead and bite it, y'all. Hey, Germana. Vancouver Island, how you doing? Germana lifts weights. She's a fierce competitor. What medications are helpful for PTSD? Well, I am not a psychiatrist, so I can't really be an expert in that field. I know that I still have a prescription for Xanax, and if my whole system starts to feel anxiety, I take one of those, and within about 1 minute I feel better. And I've been taking them for years, and I'm not addicted to them. Sometimes I go days and I don't even think about them, but sometimes they really help me a lot. Yum, yum, yum. Kate Nadine says, my sister is a religious addict and she beats it over people's heads. I got a brother who's that way too. He's getting a little better. You know, God is about love. And as time goes on with my religious addict brother, I'm seeing more love and less beating people over the head. So that's cool. This is about the best pizza I've ever had. Germana has a brother who's a religiously unhappy man, religiously addicted, unhappy man. God is love. Amen. Pizza is love. Sarah, another Sarah, we got all kinds of Sarahs, says her mom's a religious fanatic. She told me that your daughter was going to hell. My goodness. Tara loves pizza. That's right, Jesus didn't beat people over the head. The only people that he beat over the head were the people at church. Hey, yeah, my wife said Paulie's doing a lot better. He's 10, and he's acting like he's 10, whereas before he was acting like he was 17. He had a back problem, but he is a Mr. Piggy. Honey, you want to share about Mr. Paulie's food addiction? I don't know where he gets it. I don't know where that dog gets his food addiction. Probably from the cats. Thanks, Dan. You know, if it's 40 degrees and your pizza sets there for just a little bit, it gets a little bit cold. Okay, so give me some good, easy questions I can fit in between pizza bites. Okay, Kim, we're going to talk. I wasn't beating you over the head. I was telling you the truth. I don't feel safe with you anymore. I'm not addicted to religion at all. You don't know me. Now, Kim, you were thundering down Jesus' judgment. Go back and look at it. I don't know if you can look at it because I blocked it, but it wasn't nice. And I will say Jesus from time to time, and that's who I am. And I'm sorry if that makes you unhappy, but it is what it is. Peggy, you guys are hilarious. I've been laughing out loud. My dog thinks I'm crazy. Okay, I need some questions. I'm going to get the rubber chicken out. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. Either that or I'm going to go to singing. Germana, how does one make peace with their family member who's invested in being a victim and in justifying their abusive behavior? There's a good question. 2 stars for Germana. The answer is it's probably not possible. If somebody's stuck in victim mentality and they don't own their issues, you can't really make peace with them. I've got a sister that I'm no contact with, but we're hosting Christmas, and I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to ban her from the Christmas, because I'm not God. Other members of the family want her there, so I let her come, but I don't look at her. I don't talk to her. All right, Dan, where's your question? Can you repost it? Repost your question. Here's a question from Andy. If you could go back in time for a brief moment and warn yourself off the narcissist that shattered you, would you, or would you let history play itself out? I would go back in time to the day I first talked with this woman on the phone through Match.com. And I'd sit down with 2008 Mark Smith and tell him the whole sordid story. But you know what? There's no going back in time. I wish there was. I would go back to 2007 Mark Smith and say, don't leave your home for a crazy woman who doesn't really care about you. I'd go back to 2005 Mark Smith and say, be careful around that beautiful woman, because she's put together psychologically like your mother. There's a whole lot of warning. If I could go back in time, I'd go back 5 or 6 times. But all we have is today, and hopefully we got tomorrow, but we're not even promised tomorrow. Here's a question from Jackie. Any advice for dealing with a family member who loves to speak down to you, like I'm stupid or no good, or I'm just a bother? Yeah, I wouldn't have met Renda if I wasn't shattered, or we wouldn't have ended up together if I wasn't shattered, so it's all good. My favorite quote, you guys heard me say this, that a truly powerful person, they don't spend a lot of time explaining their need to have respect. They just don't engage with people that don't give them respect. So, yeah, Jackie, I wouldn't pay them no never mind. Who cares what they think? It doesn't have to get under your skin. You know who you are. I made a video, it's called The Lion Doesn't Turn Around When the Small Dog Barks. This person you're talking about, Jackie, they're just a small dog. You're the lion. Lady Fairfax is feeling really strong. That's awesome. Okay, Dan, what is the cause of sexual addiction where sexual abuse and or pedophilia are not present? Just consensual sex or porn addiction? Some people think sexual starvation is to blame. It's just like any other addiction. Sex is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. And if children are exposed to pornography and sexual experiences at a young age, sex is like cocaine. And I'm not talking about pedophilia. I'm not talking about, raping people. I tell you what, I'm not a sexual addict, but I've gone to sexual addicts meetings, 12-step meetings, and you'd show up every 6 weeks or so, and we'd find out that another guy had killed himself. It's a horrible addiction. I had a client once who had a horrible sexual addiction, and he got up and left a session. And then they found him. He hung himself in a barn. It's a horrible addiction. Horrible. Megan, my question is, feeling invisible needs therapy. Is feeling invisible a name of one of these folks? I love it how y'all are talking to each other. You might as well talk to each other since I'm eating pizza. I hope my daughter doesn't watch this. I had an experience with my daughter. She watched my 87% of guys are sexually addicted. Deb, that's not true. I've done training with the world's leading expert on sex. 87%'s high. It's high, but it's not anywhere close to 87%. But my daughter watched the one about sexual harassment, and my daughter's getting her master's degree in social work. She's 21. She knows everything. And she said, if brain damage and sexual addiction were blamed for all this behavior, it would be hurtful to the victims. And I got I got a little upset with that because that's not what I said in the video. I said all of them are probably narcissists, and most of them belong in jail. And the brain damage doesn't cause the sexual addiction. The brain damage causes damage in your life. Like Tiger Woods had really bad case of sexual addiction, and it fried his brain, and it ruined his golfing career. Him getting a divorce didn't ruin his golfing career. His system being damaged is what caused him to not become the greatest golfer of all time, which he should have. I feel like singing tonight. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of.
Hey, babe. Can you answer Megan's question, please?
My wife wants me to answer Megan's questions. Megan, where's your question? Megan. When you feel guilty, how do you break up with a narcissist? Is that the question in question? I would have to know what you feel guilty about. Megan, what are you feeling guilty about? Is that a Deanna Warwick song? Okay, so Megan, you're a pleaser, and you want to please the narcissist, and you don't want them to be mad at you. Well, there is no how to, Megan. I can tell you how to do it, but you can't do it. It isn't about how to. It's about you have work to do. You don't want to hurt them, but if you don't take care of yourself, then you're gonna end up, being so sorry that you didn't save yourself. So, Megan, work on your recovery, go to therapy, watch these videos, get stronger, rise up, have a healthy sense of entitlement, set boundaries, call a spade, put Braveheart war paint on your face, and become a substantial, fiery, boundary-setting woman, and this fella probably will make himself scarce. But it's all about doing the work and healing the wounds of your family of origin. I just got one more slice of pizza here. It's a little bit cold, but I'm going to suffer through it. All right? Thank you, Andy, for... Dang, this pizza's cold. Thank you for directing Megan to a good video. I love it. Anybody got another question? Everybody's gonna leave and go get pizza after the show. Sideways has a comment. Let me catch up with Sideways. He says narcissists don't have personal connections. It's just exhausting one supply and finding another. Sort of like vampires. What was your song, Jackie? I missed it. Peggy says, I go to a grief share meeting in a certain church, and at the first they really pissed you off, but they talked more about religion than about the program that they were intended for. That's not cool. Song for you. Melissa Manchester sings Don't Cry Out Loud. I think I know how that one goes, but I'll probably butcher it if I sing it. Jackie is the moderator of the show. Other videos that I made recently are about the other family roles. The mascot. You're welcome, Megan. The mascot is a the tool means symbol as a moderator. Well, she's got the tool, so she's in charge then. The mascot video is doing really well. It's like up to like over almost 1,400 views in less than a week. And then the Lost Child video is well over 2,000 views. So if you don't know what family role you have, then check out Jackie's at the helm. People that fuss at me, get rid of them, because my mouth's so full of pizza. Sometimes I don't pay attention good enough. The Rose, that's a good song. Here's a song I used to sing in church when I was a kid. Hear, O Lord, the sound of my cry. Hear, O Lord, and have mercy. My soul is longing for the closeness of you. Oh, hear, O Lord, and answer me. I have not been drinking tonight, I swear to God. Not a single drink. Breaking out the gospel songs. After I done used Jesus' name in vain earlier. Definitely not gluten-free. Going home. I don't know if I know. No booze needed. I got enough goofiness on my own. I think, you know, what I got is some joy. I got joy because, you know what? I survived. Thank you, Jackie. I survived a vicious attack and a horrific shattering. And I was then able to hold my business together, and I was able to sell my home, and God gave me this wonderful woman as my partner. And then out of the chaos, God gives me some direction as to what happened to me, and next thing you know, we're sneaking up on 3 million views on YouTube. Agnes, what are you saying about being horny? And then we have this beautiful home here, and now we've gone through another struggle, and now we're going to get another beautiful home in Indianapolis. So I just feel blessed that we have this community, and just how you know what, you put one foot in front of another, you have courage, you do the right thing, you cry, you struggle, you fight, you don't get along with your wife, you fight some more, you go to therapy, you cry some more, you go to more therapy, you read books, you heal, you learn, and you know what, you get better, and you overcome, and you have these goals, and you whip them goals asses, and you get pizza on Tuesday night. So yeah, I think I'm feeling a little bit of joy, even though the pizza is really, really cold. Deb and Jilligan are close to the Myrtle Beach area. Any other questions, or I'll go to singing? Joy is a great thing. It is a great thing. I'd sing, but I don't know what to sing. Hey Jude, don't make me cry. Take a sad song and make it better. That's all the words I know on that one. No Beatles, sorry. Why no Beatles? Kelly has Beatle issues. What if the narcissist is in law enforcement? That's really. You don't like the Beatles? Wow, the Beatles are the best of all time. Jilligan, I'll try to work on my email question for you again, Mark. It's just an awful story about my sister. It's just awful. How could anybody not like the Beatles? Sideways says, I saw the movie Steve Jobs, and he said, it's having no control. You find out you were out of the loop when the most crucial events in your life were in motion, as long as you have control. I know that that Steve Jobs was a narcissist, but he was a great man. You know, I don't have any... Oh, there, I do have a napkin here. I've been suffering from pizza lips. Of course, I would figure my wife brought me a napkin. But I just have great admiration for Steve Jobs. I just think he was a great man, and I'm so grateful for the products he brought to the world and the fire that he has. He was Asperger-ish. Well, he was probably pretty narcissistic-ish too. But you were talking about his adoption? Is that what you were talking about? What's going downhill fast now? Come on now. Wonder Women. I find it hard to love my mother-in-law because of her neglect, causing my husband to become a narcissist. What? I find it hard to love my mother-in-law because when he was a kid. She calls and I can't even talk to her. She's so phony. Dude, Steve Jobs was a narcissist. Narcissists can be creative. Oh, Paisan! I got the hat. I got the pizza. Hey, honey, can you bring me some cannoli? Narcissists can be creative. Some of the most impactful, intelligent, creative people in the world have been narcissists. We talk about narcissists like they're monsters, and some of them, if you're involved with them personally, they can be monstrous. But I've read a lot of stuff about Steve Jobs. I know a lot about Steve Jobs. He was a great man, but he was a narcissist, and he used his narcissism to carve a niche in the world that set the world on its ear. Donald Trump, of course, is one of the biggest narcissists on the planet, but he's not a stupid man. My son was offended because I told somebody that he had some Donald Trump qualities. What I meant was that man took millions of dollars and he turned it into billions of dollars. I think he's a misogynist. I think he's a creep. I think he's arrogant. I think he's childish. I think he's a narcissist. But I think he's a pretty smart businessman to take millions and turn it into billions. I'm just working on taking hundreds and turning them into thousands. And I thought I was a pretty smart fella. Okay, well, what time is it? I don't even know what time. It's 10:08, 10:05, and we started it. I gotta wrap down in 10 minutes. I actually got a call. I got a is Trump a racist as well? Wouldn't doubt it. I've got a hi. Good night, Diana. I've got a late night appointment with a fella in crisis. Just found out his wife was having an affair, and you know that's hard. That's hard to hear and deal with. So I got to get off the phone here in about 10 minutes. Well, I sure did enjoy the show tonight. Maybe I'll work on some more songs for y'all. I don't know why. I don't know why I went to singing. I still am a babe in the woods, but not about Steve Jobs. I know me some Steve Jobs. Good Night, Diana, a song? I think it is. Dan sent me a link. Maybe it's about Steve Jobs' adoption. Go order that pizza, Megan. I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh and sing a song. I love that when Carol Burnett would sing that at the end and then she'd tug on her earring. Actually, I think Carol Burnett was really an attractive woman. I thought back when I was a young man. Not as hot as Cher, though. Now the show is digressing. I don't know any Sinatra. Love Carol Burnett. Love Carol Burnett. Funny, but great singer. Great singer. Hey, did you guys hear that Jim Nabors passed away? Golly! Back home again in Indiana. Enough singing. A tribute to Gomer Pyle, Jim Nabors, and the fellow that sang the song before the 500, Gomer. Not Goober, Gomer. I've been watching that show lately. That's a good show. Andy Griffith Show. That's a darn good show. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and get ready for my call. Jim Nabors could sing. Man, talk about having a voice. When he was on the Andy Griffith Show, he was such a goober or a gomer that you wouldn't think he could sing, but man, that guy could sing. So, Cher was a beauty before the plastic surgery. Did she have some bad plastic surgery? It's been a slice of life. Hey, U.S. Mail, I want to mention you because you like it when I mention you. Oh, yes, narcissists exist on a continuum. That is the truth. So we will be coming to you probably from Family Tree headquarters next Tuesday night. It'll probably just be me, unless my wife will probably be out hanging out with her friends, but maybe she'll join me. I'll have my trusty Tiger here. My wife and I were fussing. You gonna be on the show next week, honey? And we left a restaurant fussing. I left my little Tiger, and I was so heartbroken. I called the restaurant and I went back and yeah, we not need to pack the chicken too, but I got my Tiger. So good show. I hope that you guys got some joy. I hope that you got a spirit of real faith and not religion. Religion attacks people. Faith builds people up. Faith, I do carry him around. Not all the time, but I almost left him at Outback the other day. I called Outback and I said, yeah, my little boy lost his favorite toy. No, it's a symbol of my recovery, and it is sort of sacred. So I hope you guys got some joy. I hope you got hungry for some pizza, and I hope you got some encouragement, and I hope you got some community. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. God bless. If I can get this to work here. We're stuck.